Batman the Killing Joke. Oh, jeez. It's been like many months since it was announced. It feels like years since it was first announced. And ever since that day, I was counting the days once it would come out. This right here is the most anticipated comic book movie since, I don't know, probably the Avengers. Okay, now I didn't expect them to really present us with the iconic comic book that came out in, I believe, in the late '80s, and really present it really well on animation form, because sometimes when you translate, some things get lost in translation. Um, but they did it so well with The Dark Knight Returns. It was a two-parter, and it deserved to be a two-parter because both movies were amazing. And this one right here, oh boy, I'm probably gonna be the only one that would say that I was kind of disappointed. Because here's the thing about this movie, okay? Now the voice actors are top notch. We got Tara Strong coming back as Batgirl, Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, all coming back to their respective roles. Except we got Commissioner Gordon, voiced by Ray Wise. I love Ray Wise. I've been a fan of him not too long ago, even though that he had a very long career. I do like the first time I started to become a fan of him was on a little show called Reaper. It went for 2 seasons and then it got canceled for some reason. It was an amazing show, but here I think he was miscast. Not just miscast. Here's the thing: when I heard that Ray Wise is going to be Commissioner Gordon, I thought, yeah, that's great. I think that would work because he's a veteran actor and he is really good, in performing roles like this, like authoritative form, authoritative roles. Now here's the thing: the source material for this was in the late '80s, so it's going to be hard to translate it to nowadays. It's going to be hard to modernize it. We do have smartphones and gadgets and newer cars and stuff like that. So there are things that are modernized, but the overall look, the overall feel, the overall dialogue and way of thinking is all the same. Now, that is a good thing and a bad thing, because it's a good thing that you would bring that out to especially the diehard comic book fans and be like, oh yeah, that's one of my favorite comics, and you're actually catering to them. You're servicing their needs, with that, and you're like, yes, that's exactly what I need. But here's the thing: if you go to a different direction and actually tried something different, yeah, you're gonna get flack for it, but somewhere down the line, people will grow to appreciate it. Like the first Batman movie, when I was a kid, I loved it. I absolutely did. Batman Returns, a lot of people hated it, but over time, some people started to, yeah, we kind of like it now. Danny DeVito as the Penguin. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. Yeah, that works. Yeah, we like that actually. People start to appreciate it. You know, the Dark Knight. People loved it once it came out, but nowadays people are saying that, oh, it's a more of a Heath Ledger movie. You know, like if we take out Batman, it would still be a great movie. But if we take out the Joker, then it's, there's no point of that movie. But here, in this movie, the thing is, the problem that I had with it is that it felt like a Batgirl story, but Batgirl didn't play a big part in it. Like, At the end of the day, she was the fuel for Batman. That's the reason why I don't really like the story. Okay? I'm not a big fan of the story. I'll be honest with you. And that's one of the main reasons why I didn't quite like the movie. Now here's the thing, if you love the comic, you're gonna absolutely adore this movie. But at the end of the day, it was just like another Batman movie because it ended up being in a Batman movie. Like the first half, the stuff with Batgirl going after Perry France, yeah, that was funny. You know, like they even called it like seriously, his alias is Paris France. You know, his real name I think is Perry Marshall, and they're like, yeah, that's what his name is France. You know. It was funny, and at the same time, it was quirky, and it was cool. Like the first half an hour to 45 minutes, it was a Batgirl movie. It was all Batgirl. We had nothing about Joker, and then out of nowhere, Batgirl, Batgirl stopped being Batgirl, and she went on to do her own thing, and then we got the Joker. Now, I don't want to spoil too much about this movie because if you haven't read the comic and you haven't watched the movie yet, you don't want to be spoiled. I'm just gonna say it right here. If you're a fan of the comic, you're gonna love this movie. But if you weren't so much of a fan of it, you're probably gonna hate it. Probably going to really hate this movie. There are some things that they actually tweaked, and you're going to like it. There are some things that you're going to like, but as an overall movie, you're probably going to think it's kind of boring, after the half an hour mark, because the first half, it's really good. It's really, really good. But after that, you're going to be like, I prefer to watch the animated series or something like that. But you're going to find some things that you're going to like if you're not a fan of the comic. But if you're a fan of the comic, like I said, you're going to adore this movie. So my final grade for this movie is probably... Now, I'm just rating this as an adaptation from a book. Adaptation-wise, probably gets a 9.5 out of 10. It was close to perfect as you can get. But as an actual Batman movie, I would give it like a 7 out of 10. Like, I was so hyped for this movie. I was so hyped that once I got to watching the movie, I was like, man, I really wanted to like it. And I watched it a million times. Like, I rewatched it like almost a million times in my head, And not just that, but actually sat down and rewatched it like a couple of more times, rewatched a few scenes. And it's just like, it bothered me. It bothered me that I didn't like it as much as I wanted to. Like right now in the back of my head, I'm replaying it in my brain, trying to think of stuff that I really liked about this movie, and the only thing that I can come up with is Batgirl. And the thing is, you got Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill as, Joker and Batman, and it's like, oh, I wish that they used it better. I wish they used their voices better. Like, I would have preferred it if they voiced The Dark Knight Returns or something else. I'm trying to think of some, like The Long Halloween. The Long Halloween is an amazing comic. It's really underrated. Way better than this. A Hush. Something like that, But this was like, I don't know. To me, I really didn't like it. I'll be honest right now. Even though that I'm a huge Batman fan. Now that I'm done with that, you can end this video right now, do something else. But for those of you who want to be spoiled, or you've seen the movie and you want to you want to get my views on it, here it is. Okay, now for those of you, I'm going to give you a second. For those of you who haven't watched it yet and don't want to be spoiled, you can leave right now. Okay, and rate, comment, favorite, and please subscribe. Okay, and share your thoughts and opinions on everything. But for those of you who have watched it or want to be spoiled, I don't understand why you want to be spoiled. I think you should check it out first and come up with your own conclusion. But you've been warned. So I'm gonna count to 3, and you got, till then to end this video. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you've been warned. Now, here's the thing about this movie that I didn't like. I didn't like the fact that Commissioner Gordon was like he was like, the peril and distress. Like he was like the one that he felt like the girl in most old movies where she'd get tied and like in front on the railroad track, and the villain is like twirling his mustache waiting for the hero to come over and try to save the hostage. That's what Commissioner Gordon felt. He didn't feel authoritative. He didn't feel, and this is coming right after like movies like Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises, and all these movies. And we've even seen Commissioner Gordon in the animated series be like a little bit more hands-on. There are even parts where he would help Batman, and we got that in newer comics. I wish that they would have updated that aspect, because this is like going backwards. This is really like going backwards with having Commissioner Gordon being like this, oh, save me, Batman. It's just, no, I don't like it. And the second thing is like he's always saying like, oh, we got to do this by the book. But when it's about his daughter, I think that should have been a part where he should have snapped. And maybe there would have been parts that would have been like, oh, he would snap, but then he would bring himself back to, back to normal. I think that should have been it. I don't like the fact that Joker is using freaks, that for, quote unquote freaks, or circus people, or whatever you want to call them, to do his bidding, because it didn't feel like, oh, they're misunderstood, and the Joker is the only one that really gets them. That's the reason why that they're following him. It didn't feel like that. It felt like, oh, they're freaks, so of course they're horrible. I didn't like the fact that Batgirl, like in the first half, she was fucking kick-ass. She had a multi-dimensional character, and like in the second half, there was no point of her. Like, I would have loved if she would have helped Batman out. I know she's paralyzed, but she could have gotten to the Oracle thing much sooner. And while she's in her hospital, in the hospital room, she's like in bed, and like she would tell the nurse, okay, leave, and then she would get out her phone, and she's got a few gadgets, and she'd be like, she'd have her earpiece and be leading Batman into a battle, and she would have her laptop set up, and he would be like, oh, I thought you gave up being Batgirl, and she's like, well, I'm not Batgirl anymore. And Batman's like, well, what should I call you? And she was like, I've always liked she would come up with some way to bring it all around, and her finally being called Oracle. I think that would have been cool. James Gordon, I think, was very underutilized here. Harvey Bullock was like a cameo. He had 2 scenes and he was okay, I guess, but it wasn't like he wasn't like anything important. This was before Harley Quinn, but I would have liked to have seen her here somewhere. Maybe like not as Harley Quinn, maybe as Harleen Quinzel or something like that. I know that would be very it would be wrong to have her in this. She has nothing to do with the original comic, but you gotta have your way with things. You gotta have your way with this kind of movie, since it's been so hyped. You got to make it great. I'm sure it probably got a standing ovation, but not for me. Not for me. Like, and the ending, oh man. The thing is, the Joker that was, I don't know what the mindset was when they were doing the comic or when they were doing, when they were making the movie. But what I got from it, they were trying to make Joker a little bit sympathetic, or maybe adding another dimension to his character. I don't think it worked, but it kind of did by the end, like the final moments. Okay, but at the same time, I think it would have been much better if you had like it started off with like the flashbacks with the Joker. Like let it be like the entire flashback. Don't I hate when they do that. Even Quentin Tarantino does that sometimes, but he does it well. And here you shouldn't be doing something like this. You're not Quentin Tarantino. Like they should have had like an entire segment for the flashbacks instead of going back and forth, back and forth. Just do the flashback, and then so that we can feel for the Joker, and then once he starts doing stuff, it would make your feelings teeter back and forth instead of like, okay, he does something horrible, and then you show a little bit of his human side. He does something horrible, a little bit of human side. No, don't do that. You gotta build a base before you start doing the building. For you to construct a building, you need to start from the ground up. Don't, start from the bottom floor and then work, on the fourth floor and then back to the second floor. That's horrible, constructing. Another thing that I had a problem with was the love story between Batman and Batgirl. I mean, yeah, it made sense, and I was actually rooting for them, but it wasn't explored even more. Like, that would have been interesting. Let's see, what else? There was a Two-Face cameo. I liked that. We didn't see his face, but you knew it was him. Like, he was in one of the cells in Arkham, and he was, clawing on his door, trying to reach to his coin, which is on the hallway. And, I don't know. Maybe one of the security guards was, maybe he was the one that he was tormenting Two-Face or something like that. I don't know, but let's see. I think that's pretty much it. That's the only problems that I have with the movie. Now, another thing that I had a problem with is like the art direction. The art direction isn't like something that you get used to it after a while, like at the start, it just took me by surprise. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. The way it's, drawn, and it's not even drawn. I think they're using Flash or something like that. And the car chase scenes and stuff like that, it's CGI, but the character models are, 2D animated, so it just looks weird. It looks very weird. It reminds me of like Batman Sub-Zero, and that came out in '98. So come on, DC, you gotta update with the times. I really didn't like. I didn't like the art direction. Like at times, it felt like whenever they would try to reach for something or do anything, it just it took like forever for them to reach something. Like if I would reach my hand and try to get like a pencil or something like that, instead of it taking like half a second, it would take the cartoon like 25 minutes or something like that. It sometimes it felt boring. It didn't flow well. Another problem that I had with this flick is that Batman kills. I wasn't sure of it, but then by the end I was like, I think he kills. Because here's the thing, there was the fight scene and the leading up to the climax, where he's in the carnival. He throws plastique. I think it's plastique onto the strongman's face, and the strongman couldn't get the plastic out of his face. Like it was stuck to his face, and then he falls down. And Batman didn't even take it out of his face. He kept it there. So he must have suffocated. One of the midgets while Batman, he was in the funny mirror house. I guess it's the mirror house. Yeah, the mirror house. He almost fell through a trap door where spikes were, protruding out, and he saw one of the midgets was trying to stomp his hands, and he pulls him right down, and we didn't see the midget. Like that midget just fell in that pit, and we didn't see it. Like it cut away right away. So Batman kills. I actually have a problem with that. Now here's the thing. I didn't have a problem with it when in Batman Returns, okay? Because it was established from the first movie that Batman kills. In Batman v Superman, I understood because there was a scene where Robin, you see the outfit of Robin, it's spray painted like by the Joker, I guess. So I understood. This guy just went over the edge. Here, I didn't. Thing is, Gordon told him, like, do it by the book. Do it by the book. I'll be fine. Just do it by the book. It just didn't feel like a Batman thing to do, to kill people. I don't know. I didn't feel it. I didn't think that was the right thing to do. Like, if it was like the Joker and he was just like pummeling him down and just, enraged, and then he pulls himself back, that's fine. That's forgivable. But I don't know, just him pulling one of the midgets down to the pit, or the plastique onto the strong man's face. It just, I don't know. I felt like this is wrong, because Batman didn't kill in the 80s. Like, even if you tell me like, oh, it was from the comic, yeah, but Batman didn't kill in the 80s. I don't think so. Like, the Joker killed himself, like in Dark Knight Returns. He had a fight with one of the mutants, but I don't think he killed the guy. He just pummeled him close to death. I don't think, no, he didn't kill people around this time. Like, for almost 50 years, Batman didn't kill. So, if you're going to tell me, oh, he used to kill in the comics, that was during, like, World War II. I mean, come on, times have changed. So, I don't know, I don't like it. I don't like that Batman kills. Yeah, okay, so some of the positives that I liked. Now, the animation started off, horrible, but your eyes get used to it. Okay, so there are some fun scenes, I liked. I liked the detective aspect about it. That was the start with Batgirl, just trying to find out where, Perry France is. That's cool. I like it, and a little bit of espionage, a little bit of, double crosses here and there. It was cool. I liked it. Batman not being able to find the Joker, I didn't like that. I don't like the fact that Batman didn't find the Joker. I mean, yeah, if it was an ordinary person, it was like, if you were in his shoes, you wouldn't find him. Yeah, fine, but you're not Batman. The Cape Crusader can find anyone with a snap of his fingers. But I don't like the fact that, yeah, the movie had too much fan service, I thought. But here's the thing. I love the musical segment, I'm so loony, by Mark Hamill. I loved it. I really wish that there was some more, and that got me thinking, like, that's the only way that DC can actually feud with Marvel in movie, in the cinematic universe, and that is have musicals. I hope that in Suicide Squad we have a musical with Harley Quinn or like the Joker. You could do that with those kind of characters. You can do that in like in a Teen Titans movie. You can have Beast Boy and Cyborg do something. You can have in the Flash movie. You can have that in the Green Lantern movie. You can do a lot of things with DC that Marvel still haven't, still haven't explored. Instead of, going for like, okay, we're gonna do this huge spectacle, we're gonna try to outdo Marvel with that sort of stuff. Okay, do that, but at the same time, do stuff that Marvel isn't doing. You can do musicals, musical segments, not, entire a movie, a musical movie. I'm saying like little musical segments, where like I don't know, like the Flash is is busting tables in like a little, Hard Rock Cafe or something like that, where if you would like, if like one of the customers, puts in like a coin, in one of the slots, that means, the employees, they have to dance, they have to do a musical number. I love that. I love that kind of stuff. And if you have like a guy like Joss Whedon, directing and maybe writing a few of the songs, he is a great musical director, and I think that he will do wonders with something like that. Put in Neil Patrick Harris in it as well. I don't care. That would make it even more awesome. So that was I was just rambling. I'm sorry. Anyways, actually, I'm not sorry. It's really fun. Yeah. With that being said, rank up favor. If you haven't, please subscribe. That was my review for Batman: The Killing Joke. I hope you guys enjoy it, and if you have seen it, and tell me what you thought about it. Yeah. So until then, take care.